evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, November 14th, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of our news, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The EU foreign ministers had a meeting today where they expressed their support for European Council's positive recommendation for Albania's cessation of negotiations with the European Union. At the meeting, Friends of Albania, which was held in Brussels, promoted by Italy and Austria, the foreign ministers praised Albania's reforms and progress. Italian Foreign Minister Paolo Gentiloni said the EU will open formal session of negotiations with Albania and that there are the conditions to start formal adhesion tasks. We are really satisfied with this initiative promoted by Austria and Italy, Friends of Albania. The aim is that the European Council decides to start negotiations for Albania's membership in the European Union in December. I think Albania has realized many reforms and has made progress, the Italian FM declared. Also, Austria's Foreign Minister Sebastian Kurz praised the reforms the Albanian government has undertaken and its constructive role in the region. The region is still in a difficult situation and we are grateful to the Albanian Prime Minister and to the Albanian government for all the reforms realized in Albania. We are grateful to Albania for the constructive and positive role it plays in the region, and this is not important only for Albania but also for all of us, Kurz said. Prime Minister Edi Rama was also present at the meeting of foreign ministers in Brussels, where the EU High Representatives Federica Mogherini and Johannes Hahn were also in attendance. At the end of the meeting, the Albanian Prime Minister declared that this is an irreversible process and that the implementation of judicial reform requires many years. It is beyond doubt that Albania will open negotiations with the EU once the preliminary work on reforms get underway and we prove to be progressing in every field, including the implementation of vetting law. Implementation of the vetting law is the only condition. Arguably, this is the condition imposed by us on the European pathway, said PM Rama. Meanwhile, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ditmir Bushati, said that he held a meeting with his Greek counterpart. I believe Greece will support Albania because it's in Greece's strategic interest to support Albania's integration process, declared Albanian Foreign Minister. The implementation of judicial reform is expected to start with the vetting law, for which the Venice Commission's opinion is expected after Democratic Party's complaint in the Constitutional Court. The Socialist Movement for Integration has asked the government to review its decision to impose an excise duty tax on vehicles' gas, which would increase the gas price amounting to 13 lek per liter. The Minister of Environment declared that drivers should be urged to use gas as it reduces pollution. Also, the opposition's members were against an increase of gas price, which according to them would affect the citizens who use gas for cooking and for heating in their homes. During his reporting at the Parliamentary Commission of Productive Activity, the Minister of Environment expressed his dissatisfaction for the 3.2 billion lek fund predicted for the ministry he heads and asked for more funds. The members of the Commission also debated over the construction of a hydropower plant in Malić of Korça. The co-chairman of Ad Hoc Commission and Electoral Reform, the Socialist MP Tauland Balla, rejected today the application of open list system in the upcoming parliamentary elections. Even though the open list system is a proposal made by all small parties, including the Socialist Movement for Integration, Mr. Balla declared that this proposal is not part of working agenda for the electoral reform and it is not a recommendation of the OSCE. The co-chairman of the Ad Hoc Commission held a meeting today with representatives of Electoral Chamber who submitted their proposal for electoral reform. After the meeting, Mr. Balla expressed readiness to present their proposals in the Commission, but he was determined in his stance against the proposal for open list system. Instead, the co-chairman of Ad Hoc Commission on Electoral Reform supports the proposal for depolitization and electoral administration and creating conditions for immigrants to vote. The representative of Electoral Chamber, Mr. Kristaj Kume, made several proposals to the Ad Hoc Commission on electoral reform, such as the application of open lists, depolitization of electoral reform, migrants voting, and public funding for political parties. Parliamentary Inquiry Commission on Chess issue held a meeting today where the former company's lawyer reported. Also, the former Prime Minister Sali Berisha was called to report for the privatization of the operator of energy distribution system. The chairman of the commission, the Socialist MP Tauland Balla, asked for the presence of the former PM in the commission and the former MP Victor Gumi to explain the criteria upon which the operator of energy distribution system was privatized. The next meeting of the Inquiry Commission will be held next Monday, and it is the last session where witnesses for privatization of ČEZ can report. Democratic Party chairman was in Liège today, where he commented again on drugs seized recently in Roshen. According to the DP chairman, the government is willing to defend criminals and violate the law only for power and money. Mr. Basha said that the government is being transformed into a gang that clashes for drug deals and that it shows its force only to the defenseless. Police was informed that there was drug in the former poultry farm in Roshen, but Roshen's police officers withdrew and Liège's police officers did not intervene. Aren't they the same police officers who fine citizens for the seatbelt? Aren't they the same police officers who imprison poor citizens who do not pay energy bills? But instead, they do not intervene to seize drugs, declared the DP chairman. According to Basha, the Prime Minister is concerned about enriching his clients and about his personal fame with exhibitions and promoting books. The DP chairman added that the Prime Minister is being enriched from the state budget. The Minister of Interior, Samir Tahiri, visited some areas affected by floods in Fushe Kruje, from where he responded to the Democratic Party's chairman's accusations for not declaring the emergency situation. The minister said that the opposition is using natural disasters for political reasons. I do not want to deal with the opposition, which has a custom to use people's disgraces, making politics with natural disasters or with people's disgraces. I am calling on the opposition to join us and help the citizens affected by floods if it has positive energies. Civil society entrepreneurs have joined us to help the citizens. I think that also the opposition has the opportunity to join us, and together we can help those who need us the most, declared the minister, who distributed food and clothes to the residents, adding that the government is considering investing to stop floods. This is an area that is constantly affected by floods. It's important that we help the residents. The local government and state structures are considering the investment opportunity in order to stop floods from happening, added the minister. Recently, the DP chairman visited Fushe Kruje, where he met with some citizens and declared that the government does not declare the emergency situation as it does not want to compensate the citizens. The Minister of Social Welfare, Blendi Klosi, presented today the new law on children protection. According to the new law, violent parents risk losing parental rights and risk losing child custody. Parents will be penalized in cases of violence and their custody right will be removed. Teachers and doctors who do not report violence cases will be dismissed. There will also be sanctions for children exploitation at work. There are only 30 social employees in city halls. Under the new law, social employees will work with 3 shifts, declared the Minister of Social Welfare at Parliamentary Integration Commission. Meanwhile, the chairwoman of the Commission, Melinda Bregu, declared that the number of violence cases against children is alarming. There are 849 violent cases in 7 city halls only for the first quarter of 2016, declared Bregu. The high number of Albanian minors who are asking for asylum in the EU countries remains a concern. 150 minors were returned in Albania in 2016. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Eno, and on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.